Hey, good afternoon, LinkedIn. I'm Christine Kidder, your career coach, job search coach, helping you find work that works for you. And it's Thursday afternoon here in the Chicago area. I'm all bundled up because even though it's a pretty fall day, it's kind of cold, and I'm cold. This is going to be quick, but I'm getting the word out regarding my LinkedIn training. It's specifically LinkedIn profile training that is next week. And this is actually a small bite of LinkedIn profile training. And the title is essentially, well, it is communicating your value in your LinkedIn profile. Or in other words, making your LinkedIn profile irresistible. I think that they're both interchangeable because if you're on LinkedIn, you're wasting your time if you don't have a good profile. You need to have certain components, and really, to make the most of LinkedIn, you need to have an irresistible profile. And it's not complicated to do it, but that's that's the starting point for really leveraging LinkedIn. It should be a component of your career plan. It really should be a major pillar of your career plan. And hopefully you have a career plan, although I think that there may be some people that don't have a career plan, but you should. And LinkedIn should be a core pillar of it. If you are watching this, number one, thanks. I'm really glad that you are watching this right now. And secondly, put in the comments that you are watching because I don't know if you are or not unless you make a comment. And let me know where you're watching this from. And if you can give me likes, hearts, any of that, that is very good. And yeah, and I'm really excited to provide this little training bite on LinkedIn Live this Thursday afternoon. And so anyway, again, my training is next week on Wednesday and Thursday, so October 27th and October 28th. Both trainings are at 12 p.m. The first one on Wednesday is here on LinkedIn Live. Okay. And then I'm also going to be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, just like I am right now. And so it's going to be available to you. Again, the title is Communicating Your Value in Your LinkedIn Profile. And then on Thursday, it's going to be more of an in-depth training within an hour. You'll have a chance to get your questions answered. And it's a private Zoom training, and it's a very minimal cost. It's a $17 registration fee with a short application because I want to tailor it to the attendees. If you're attending, I want you to get as much value as possible and walk away with an irresistible LinkedIn profile. Okay, right now, I'm just going to be talking about having a good, an irresistible profile in LinkedIn, but also too, what if I'm talking about a struggle that you may encounter in your career? Many people encounter it, unfortunately, and it's just part of challenges. And what I'm referring to is bias. Do you know what bias is? Bias, everybody has bias, including human resources people. Hiring managers certainly have bias. If you're a human being, you have bias, unfortunately. I'm not saying that it's right, but we have biases. They're part of what makes us who we are. And but being aware of biases is really, really important. Okay. So number one, if you're a hiring manager, or definitely human resources, you need to be aware of biases. But as a candidate or just a professional in the workforce, it's important to be aware of them. So what does bias have to do with your LinkedIn profile? The reason I'm bringing it up is a huge group in the workforce. I mean, there's many groups within the workforce that are discriminated against or that have to deal with bias. And a common term that you may hear is unconscious bias. So again, that's the bias that we all have, but we're not aware of it. So we want to become aware, develop an understanding. But as I was saying, there's huge groups within the workforce that are discriminated against, unfortunately. And probably I heard an attorney once say the largest group of workers that's discriminated against are older workers. So, and it doesn't, I think like anyone over 40. However, some people might think, well, once you're over 50, you're definitely going to have a harder time in the workforce. But anyway, so it's older workers and it's referred to as ageism. And I think that's also an unconscious bias for many hiring managers out there and human resources people. How do you deal with that if you are a very tenured, you have lots of experience, you have 30 plus years of experience, you were a CFO, or you were a CMO, or this high level human resources vice president, whatever your role was, you have all this experience and you feel like you're experiencing ageism. How do you deal with that? The key thing that I have, and I actually I've gone to different presentations on dealing with ageism. The main, like one of the small things that you can do, which I think helps, is to not only showcase your value in your LinkedIn profile by giving specifics of your experience, but just showing how you embrace technology. I mean, for any person in the workforce to show how you embrace technology, how you have a learner's mindset, an open mindset to learning. You embrace learning. You're always willing to learn. By showing that tendency, that learner's mindset, and Carol Dweck referred to it in her book, The Growth Mindset. Get that book too. That's a great book. The audio book is awesome. So definitely check out that book. But how are you always trying to grow, and specifically using technology? Because as we know, technology is always changing, always, and it keeps on going faster and faster. If you can show that you keep up with technology and that you know the latest and greatest thing, like just even taking social media platforms, for example, that's a good thing. So that's what I'm getting at, is with your LinkedIn profile. If you are very adept at using LinkedIn and you have a great profile and you have these great features on there and you're active in reaching out to people, and this is not a huge time commitment. I'm talking about 5 minutes a day, and then to start, and then you might want to expand it a little bit more. But it's all about, again, showing how well versed you are with, or well versed with technology, and with LinkedIn, showing that you know it very well, you're comfortable with it, and learning the newest updates, and just that's a great way to feature yourself and to show that you are up to date with technology. And again, your LinkedIn profile would show that. So that's just a tip. And then other ways that you can show that you're up to date with technology. If you have a face-to-face interview with someone, and again, you feel like you might have a harder time because you have a lot of years of experience, you have experienced ageism before, bring an iPad with you into the interview. I mean, just little things like that can help give the impression. Now, I'm not saying ageism is good, it isn't, but we know that we can't change other people, but whatever you can do to make yourself look as professional, to really highlight the value that you bring. And if you aren't really good with technology, I encourage you to, again, start with 5 minutes a day. And LinkedIn has awesome content here on on LinkedIn. So you can learn how to really use LinkedIn to network with people, how to use it for your job search. It's a great tool that many, many people don't fully leverage. Well, that's what I recommend. And I would love to hear your comments on that. Any comments that you have. Of course, if you have any questions, that would be helpful too. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to be wrapping up in the next minute or two, but I do welcome any questions. And I did want to say again that, my event is, I'd love to see you in my event next week. It would be excellent to see you there because, again, it's all focused on your LinkedIn profile and how to have an irresistible LinkedIn profile. And I am going to be going live in these little training bites next week as well. And I might even do tomorrow a little bit too, but really trying to get the word out regarding this training because I feel everyone, if you are on LinkedIn, if you're taking the time to be on LinkedIn and to have a profile, you don't want that space to be wasted. You want to fully utilize it, and you need to regularly update your profile. I would recommend at a bare minimum doing it on a quarterly basis, if you can even do it monthly, because you are changing in your career and you want to highlight. Again, you're highlighting your value, you're communicating your value in your LinkedIn profile. Plus, it really helps you to stay in touch with your professional network. I don't know how we did things before LinkedIn. And I know that the other social media platforms are very helpful for different things like Facebook and YouTube as well. YouTube is great when I have a question and I don't know how to do something. It's awesome. But LinkedIn is definitely the go-to place to help you develop your career. And again, as I was saying with bias, every professional in the workforce is going to encounter bias in some way or another. It's as human beings, we have unconscious bias. However, if you're someone who feels that you've been impacted by ageism, having a great LinkedIn profile can help you to deal with that ageism and really communicate your value well. So yeah. So anyway, this is Christine Kidder, career coach. I'm signing off. Again, my training is next week on Wednesday and Thursday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, both times. But the Thursday one is more in depth and private on Zoom. You have to register for that. You must register. And that's it. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye.